you don't know when the next deal is going to come. You don't know when the next opportunity is going to come. So it's one of those things where it's a constant hustle. So while someone's saying like, "Oh, I made $1,000," that could have been the most that they made in the last 6 months. It's very relative, and I just like to be fair because yes, there is opportunity for growth, but it is sales. You're still kind of coming up with. There's so many ideas, and so many times I've pitched myself. I didn't get the deal. I didn't get the opportunity and the time and all of the things that it took to do it. You still used it. You know what I mean? You still sat at the computer for 5 hours drafting up a proposal. So yes, there is room you can definitely survive off of it. I am currently doing it. I'm a full-time food influencer and I thank God for it.
Miami's hip hop and R&B. It's 103.5 The Beat. Poppin', keep the people's voice with my very special guest in the building with Cheyenne the blogger. How are you?
I'm good.
It's such a pleasure to have you. I'm so excited. Like, I've seen you so many times, and I'm going to get you on my show.
I know. I'm always so nervous, but I'm here today.
You are here, man. I am so proud of you. Just to let people know, I do know your father and your mom, so there's some history there. But just to see how you've developed and created your own brand, and I'm just really excited for you to talk about it. So let's talk about Cheyenne the blogger. How did this come about?
So funny enough, I actually started Cheyenne the blogger doing cooking recipes when I was about a junior in college.
Wow.
So I would just kind of film me making like recipes for Super Bowl, if we had like game night, any type of different, because when you're in college, you're trying to survive.
Yeah.
So somebody will bring noodles, somebody's bringing ground beef, we're making lasagna. Like that was what I was doing, but I thought it was kind of cool. So I started filming all of those recipes that we would make. However, that pivot because I started off as the marketing coordinator for the city of Miramar. And when I was working for the city of Miramar, my job was like, so demanding and I had to be in the office at all of the events for the commissioners, the elected officials. I didn't have any time to cook anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to show everybody where I get lunch. And the thing with that is, again, I'm on an entry-level salary. So for me, it was one of those things where I knew like, okay, I need to get a $10 salad, or this is where I go to get like a Stop a Gap for like Jamaican food and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? There's so many people that probably this would be helpful for them if they're in a similar situation like me. So then I moved away from my cooking recipes and I started highlighting where I was going for lunch and happy hour. And it kind of just evolved from there where people were like, where was that spot? You got those $5 drinks after work. So
when was this that you started? When did that happen?
So I started 2019 and then around 2021, you'll see, well, I'll say like 2020, 2021, you'll start to see me shift.
Right.
And it's less of recipes and it's more highlighting restaurants, places to eat and things to do.
So you're a bit ahead of the curve because a lot of people kind of got into it after the pandemic and,
I mean, that's a debate because there were so many, I think that a lot of people started like, when TikTok started booming, it gave people more of an outlet, but it kind of already exists before I got into the game.
Yes.
So for me, it was one of those things where TikTok was like, if you get ahead of the curve and you learn these apps, you can grow faster because you know which apps are really booming and what people are looking for on the apps. So yeah.
Did you ever think though that you would take this opportunity to introduce people to different restaurants and food and make an actual career out of it?
No. I did not think this was a real career. It's funny because even with my family, I come from a very West Indian Trini household.
Yes.
So when I told my family I was leaving my 9 to 5 to be a food blogger, that was like unheard. My grandpa wanted to shake the Sunday dinner table. Like he was like, what are you thinking? Like, what's wrong with you? These kids, they don't have no sense. Like, so for me, it was not something that I ever thought of as a career, but when I started getting brands coming up to me, and that's the scary part about it. You never know when to really jump because what started happening was I was getting opportunities always during work. So that became difficult because I'm like, "Ugh, I want to be there, but I have to be here." So it kind of got to a point, and I will say, like with my parents, my parents are very young, so they've always kind of pushed me and motivated me. So my mom, as scared as she was for me to jump, she's like, "Listen, if you feel like you want to do this, then try it, jump." And because I graduated with a marketing degree, so she said you can always try to go back in and get a 9 to 5 if things don't work out and stuff like that. So, but thankfully, I've been able to really sustain just being in the industry and developing a name for myself, which much. I'm so grateful because I know that it's God. Because every time I think, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't even know how this connects, and it always comes full circle and it always works
Well,
out.
it's like now you get to market for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? You get
Mm-hmm.
to use your degree for
Mm-hmm.
you, and you are
Absolutely.
your brand. You've
Mm-hmm.
created this brand,
Mm-hmm.
Shine the Blogger.
Yeah.
What I would say, right? There's a lot of people who are out there food blogging for
Mm-hmm.
different reasons and
Mm-hmm.
different causes. And what I didn't care for and what I appreciated about
Mm-hmm.
yours, there's a level of authenticity to it.
Oh, thank
You know what I
you.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people use food blogging
Mm-hmm.
to extort,
Mm-hmm.
to do a lot of negative things,
Mm-hmm.
and I've even had some restaurants come in here and be
Mm-hmm.
like, like the owners of Eden and other places, be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Listen, this is the experience I had with some of these food
Right.
bloggers and stuff like
Right.
that." What would you say, like you being in that space, what sets you apart? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are your values in terms of
Yeah.
how you go about doing that?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So for me, it's one of the things where if I don't like something, I'm not going to post it.
Mm,
I don't care if you invited me, I will kindly ask for the tab. I will pay the bill. Sometimes there's times where I've paid $300-$400 bills of food I didn't ask for, prices that I don't even think are fair, but I pay it because I never want to walk away from a restaurant them feeling like, oh, she ate all our food and she didn't pay and she never posted. But I rather pay because also too, like I said, everything I do is faith-based and I know that God is leading me and the only way to be a good steward of what he's giving me is to make sure that I'm doing it with integrity. So for me, if it's something where it's like, I mean, some of the most popular restaurants in Miami, we have gotten to it, but I'm not the person, I'm not going to go online. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to, but I will let them know I'm not posting this. I'm not going to post this and you can bring me the bill. And usually when I ask for the bill, it's a worse scenario than anything else because now that marketing team has to go back to explain why she's not going to post and whatever happened because sometimes it's even customer service because my thing is if you invited me you wouldn't invite someone to your home and be nasty to them. So if you invite me to a restaurant and your staff is being nasty or things like that, for me I'm like I wouldn't come back here, so I'm not going to tell someone else to come back here, but I don't go online and I don't talk about it just because I feel like I want to shine light on the people that deserve the recognition and I don't want like negativity to overshadow all of the positive things that's happening and the
right.
businesses that need the support.
What I've also loved, and thank you for answering that. That was
Mhm.
beautiful. What I also appreciated, or what I love, is how you pivoted.
Mhm.
I mean, we know we're in South Florida, there's a lot of restaurants to
Yeah.
cover, but then there's a lot of other experiences.
Mhm.
And I've seen
Mhm.
you horseback riding,
Yeah.
travel experience.
Mhm.
So how was it, when did you realize, hey, maybe I could pivot into other
Mhm.
types of experiences
Mhm.
besides just food?
Food, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I kind of started off doing a little bit of both. But again, a lot of the content and the platform I was creating was because I needed an escape out of work. Being a recent grad and, all my college friends, they moved back to New York. So I didn't have any friends at the time. I was very lonely and I was trying to find my way post college life. So I needed things that were affordable. I needed things that it's like after work, I'm not just going home and going to work and living this life of routine. And I felt like if I need this escape in life, I'm sure there's so many people that also need this escape, but they necessarily don't have the money to always go on a vacation.
Mm.
So I started trying to find things and places that would give you that feeling of a staycation, but things that were affordable, things that you can do if you go every Tuesday. Yoga here is free. So, me just needing that in my own life, I decided to use my platform as an outlet to really highlight, again, not only restaurants, but things to do because I wanted everyone to find that escape when they need it, when they want to do something different or fun.
So it sounds like you're really intentional.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
you think of like
Mhm.
the people who follow you,
Yeah.
you think of their financial circumstances, you
Yes.
think of like the space that they're in
Yeah.
and how they would appreciate what you're presenting.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's
Mhm.
talk about like maybe one situation that was really memorable, an experience that you had.
I mean, honestly, and I'm not saying this because it's like the right thing to say, but like a lot of these experiences are memorable, but I really, really love working with like the local small businesses, the mom and pop restaurants, because when you're sitting there with them and they're telling their story, I feel like there's so many different memorable experiences. Like I can't really name one in particular, but I think it's always that. It's always sitting and then especially too when people are like excited and they have this like, oh, you're going to be able to do it. It's a lot of pressure because I'm
Right.
like, I want to deliver for them, but just knowing that I can be that for people and listening to them. And also too, I always tell restaurants, I'm like, tell me what your restaurant serves that they cannot find anywhere else.
Mhm.
And I love highlighting that because I feel like every restaurant, like you have your restaurant you go to for steak, you have a restaurant you go to for
Yeah.
pasta, like you know where that spot is for you. And I love being able to sit with restaurants and develop their identity and showcase it to the public and let people know where to go, what's the best place to eat, what's the best time to go,
Mm.
even too with high end restaurants, because I cover a lot of high end restaurants too, but I try to focus on their happy hours or their Tuesday date night special because I don't ever want us to feel like something is not reachable or attainable for us. Like we can reach anything that we want, but it's just figuring out what will work in our capacity. Yeah.
Pathway. Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what's so interesting as I'm hearing you talking, and I know you have that marketing degree. I don't know if you've tapped into this
Hmm.
yet. Maybe this is something you're already working on. Maybe I'm letting the cat out the bag. I don't know.
Hmm.
But, obviously going to all these different restaurants, you're able to see what they're doing wrong. You're able to,
Mm.
and then with your marketing degree and you
Hmm.
attach those things,
Hmm.
I'm sure you could walk into a restaurant and be like, what's that guy? Uh,
Oh, Chef Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay,
Oh,
Gordon Ramsay, that thing. You can be
right,
like,
right. Right,
you
right.
know what I'm saying? Have you thought of that? Is that something
See,
that
so
you
that's
would
the thing.
consider?
Yeah, that's the thing because I feel like that leans more into like a food critic.
Mhm.
And for me, because I don't have a culinary degree, I try to stay in my, because I'm giving based off of like numbers and what works and portion sizes and things like that, just as being a consumer.
Right.
So I feel like if I were to go into brand strategy for like restaurants and hospitality, I would definitely want to tap into more of like trends. I would also kind of want to highlight the things that are working and what people are gravitating towards, creating more affordable deals within whatever their programming is that already exists, but saying, hey, if your slowest time is during this point, maybe you make this a sunset hour.
Yeah.
So it would probably be something more in that, like the
No,
marketing
for
sense.
sure. Yeah. So you were
Yes,
absolutely right
exactly.
on that. More on
Hmm.
that side. Um, can people really make a living doing what you do?
Absolutely. I would definitely say you can make a living. And I know a lot of times creators go online and they say, hey, I make up to this amount a month. And
Mhm.
every month is different. You can have a $10,000 month and you can have a $500 month. So I would say that, learning to be a good steward of it and figuring out like really, because you don't know when the next deal is going to come. You don't know when the next opportunity is going to come. So it's one of those things where it's a constant hustle. So while someone's saying like, "Oh, I made $10,000," that could have been the most that they made in the last 6 months.
Mm.
So it's very relative, and I just like to be fair because yes, there is opportunity for growth, but it is sales. So you are still pitching yourself to brands. You're still kind of coming up with. There's so many ideas, and so many times I've pitched myself. I didn't get the deal. I didn't get the opportunity and the time and all of the things that it took to do it. You still used it. You know what I mean? You still sat at the computer for 5 hours drafting up a proposal. So yes, there is room you can definitely survive off of it. I am currently doing it. I'm a full-time food influencer and I thank God for it. But when I say I thank God, I wake up every day with whether I made $500 that month or if I made however much that month. Like I always thank God because at the end of the day, just being able to is just a blessing in itself. Because I told you my grandpa shook that dinner table and he told me that he don't know what I'm thinking, where I'm going, and what's happening, but just knowing that I've been able to show him a difference, that meant a lot to me as
Yes.
well. Because it's like he's a military man. He comes from a generation where there was only one way to exist and to create
Yeah.
income for
You're
yourself.
either gonna be a doctor or a lawyer.
Exactly.
Yep,
Especially if you come from a West Indian family.
that
So,
part.
yeah, so that was big. So just being able to and for him to see the things that I'm doing, not only am I shining a light on, other people that may want to become a food influencer, but I'm showing even the people around me that, there's so much more to life. Like even when we think that there's a ceiling, there is no ceiling. There's so much more that we can do.
Absolutely. Again, tapping into your marketing side. I want you to
Mhm,
tell everyone about the brunch event
mhm,
and then also take the opportunity to tell
mhm.
us when the next one is happening and some of the
Yes.
things you got lined up.
Yes. So I am co-founder of Tales at the Table. The other co-founder is Kamaya. She is key to MIA. And we recently started a dinner party series. It's more of a dinner conversation series where we want to bring back that really intentional Sunday dinner conversation. But what we're doing is we're storytelling with a specific topic through food and through cocktails. So I'm also founder of AAEX, which is the Alcohol Artistry Experience. And what the alcohol artistry experience is designed is, again, to storytell through cocktails, but teach you a lot about notes, about flavors, what work well together. You know, the difference between a Blanco and a Reposado and an Añejo when you're talking tequilas. And that was the whole idea is really people that are enthusiastic about food and beverage and just cocktails in general. You get to learn a little bit more in depth about flavors and notes. So AAEX is featured on Tales at the Table, which happens once a month. And the dinner series, it is every quarter the topic changes. So last quarter for Q1, January, February, March, was the history of hip hop, which
Yes.
Papa Keith was at. We loved having him at the table. And then Q2 now, we are currently doing the HBCU dinner experience. So we're talking about why HBCUs exist. We talk about the impact that they play in our culture. And then we also kind of highlight a lot of historical moments that people don't even realize happen because of HBCU students. So that dinner party is going to be this Sunday at 2 p.m. at Smitty's in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to start at 2 p.m. And it is a very intimate dinner party because we want people to feel comfortable enough to talk at the dinner table. So we always aim for anywhere from 25 to 30 guests max, just so people feel like they can talk. They heard the person at the end of the table and the other end of the table, and people feel safe enough to share their ideas and their thoughts. So I'm super excited about it. Tales at the Table this Sunday. We would love to have you guys. You can click the link in my bio if you want to buy tickets. There's only a few left, which I'm so grateful in itself because this Tales at the Table, the dinner conversation series is very new. It's only 4 months old. So to sell as many tickets as we have, it's been a blessing. And I just thank God every single time.
All right, so make sure you tap in Shine the blogger on
Hmm.
Instagram
Hmm.
so you could get those tickets in her bio and go ahead.
Oh, I
You got
also
it.
yeah, I just remembered. Okay. I will also be at Food, Wine, and Fete on May 16th. It is from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Definitely buy your tickets. Let me tell you, I went as a consumer last year and I loved a Fete. So I had a great time. So going back now and bringing an AAEX experience is like a dream come true. Shout out to Vanessa because she's been on calls with me, just working through and developing that whole concept. So AAEX will be there. We'll have a cocktail lounge so you can come by and build your cocktail and have a good time with us. But it is an event you don't want to miss either.
That's what's up.
Mhm.
Do you have a website for that one?
For Food, Wine, and Fed,
No, for your
AAEX.
yeah.
Yeah, so AAEX.Miami.
There you
That's
go.
the website for AAEX events.
All right, sounds good. Shine, I'm so
Mhm.
proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Um, it's we see you in
Mhm.
front of the camera. You always look great. Keep
Oh, thank you.
yourself,
Mhm.
pristine. Like,
Mhm.
my daughter looks up to you. It's like
Oh, thank
it's a
you.
beautiful thing, and it's and I just want to like show people too that are listening, you can do things the right way. Sometimes it
Yeah,
may take a little bit longer,
it does.
but
Mhm. Mhm.
I think you last a lot longer
Oh.
when you do it, and
Mhm.
you have been exemplary in how you move
Oh, thank you so
and how
much.
you've managed this, and I'm just very proud of you. Want to give you your gold
Oh,
roses.
thank you.
You
I
know what I
appreciate
mean? For
that. Thank
sure,
you
for
for
sure.
having me, honestly.
No, no, absolutely,
Mhm.
man. You're the first food blogger I've had on.
Really? Oh my God. I love that. Thank you so much. But you know what it is too? I feel like sometimes you don't even realize when you're living your dreams because you're going so fast that you're
Mhm.
not even stopping to realize, like, I'm on iHeartRadio. Like,
Right,
this is
right.
crazy. Like, this was not on my bucket list. And that's why I say you got to put God first because God will align you with the right people and the opportunities. Because even you,
Mm.
like, I've been ducking and dodging. I've been scared, but I just appreciate you constantly, like, not forgetting about me,
Mm.
even with me being scared and trying to hide. So I appreciate it so
Sean, I'm
much.
genuinely proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
And I
Thank
would
you.
definitely want you to know that. And I had that proud moment at your brunch,
Oh.
where I just watched you and you were
Mhm,
talking, and I'm
mhm.
just like, I felt like I was your dad,
Aw,
and
thank
your
you.
dad was there.
I know, I
You
appreciate
know what I
it.
mean? But just shout out anybody you want to shout out, and just remind them of how they can get any tickets or how they
Mhm.
can stay connected with
Yeah.
you.
So I just want to say thank you to everyone that supports me. Honestly, every single person, every time you comment, you like something, all of the warm DMs, I always read them. I try to respond as much as I can. But honestly, it's really hard to do something that you don't know where you're going and what you're doing. So every bit of encouragement helps me. And I just want to say thank you guys so much. You can follow me at Cheyenne the Blogger on all platforms: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Again, I can't wait to continue highlighting South Florida and beyond. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the table or at an AAEX event.
That's what's up, Cheyenne. The bloggers in the building. It's 103.5 The Beat.